Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Outcast Comics. Today we're reviewing episode 9 of X-Men 97, and let's unpack this episode. Starting off with, I guess the main point of this one would be Wolverine at the end of the comic book. But before we jump straight into that, let's rewind a little bit and get at the beginning of the episode. So, what happened on this episode? Well, we got Xavier back. They're all trying to deal with Magneto, trying to talk him down. Prior to that, Xavier's talking to the president, to Kelly, and he kind of gets the okay to attempt it, but we all know where this is headed. And if you guys read the books, the one recommended for you to read, especially for this episode, is go read the story arc of Fatal Attractions, where I'll show you one more book on that. Or actually, I'll show you a book on that right now. And I'll put it somewhere right here so you guys can see it better, because I know I'm in this little box and you guys can't see me. But it's X-Men number 25. Alright, not the Uncanny, the X-Men, the second volume. So this is Fatal Attractions. It comes with a little holographic card. I'll try to get a better picture of it and put it on the screen here. It's of Gambit. Alright, and this is the issue where Magneto pulls Wolverine's adamantium out. And I'm pretty sure it's also the episode where the book where we get to see what's going to happen in the next episode. Alright? Haven't read it in over 2 decades. Alright, what else do we get on this before we get to that part? You get to see the X-Men put on their old classic costumes, which is great to see them in the classic costumes, especially with this animation. Now that it's moving a lot better than the old one. As a matter of fact, I think the first ever episode of X-Men back in the 80s, I think from what I recall, I remember the art and the movement of the smoothness of the movements of the characters being better than X-Men 1992. But doesn't matter, because that's not what we're here to talk about, are we? Okay, so we get to see Rogue in her classic uniform when she was running around with Mystique, and she takes Miss Marvel's powers away and puts her in a coma. So that's a hint right there that she's about to turn. All right. Sunspot turns. I thought we were gonna get to see the acolytes on this, but I guess not. There's supposed to be more mutants on that asteroid than just Rogue and Sunspot with Magneto. But we didn't get to see that. But again, I understand having to draw these characters in a cartoon form is not the same as having to do it in a comic book, unless you're gonna do a full-out movie. So what I'm getting hinted at here is that, hey, we're going to finally get that Onslaught storyline on some type of format other than the comic book. And I believe that's going to happen in the second season, which is going to allow them to bring in the Avengers and all these other characters to intertwine and cross over. Hopefully it takes up the entire season so that it's not just in 1 or 2 episodes that they can build up. You know, we get to see the Herald of Apocalypse. I'm sorry, the Herald of Onslaught and all these other characters, and it builds up on this. I did enjoy the episode. Just a few spoilers on this one. So again, if you don't want any spoilers, 3, 2, 1. So we see Jean Grey also take on Nathan because he gets controlled by Sinister. How at one point, I don't know. But he does, and he takes on Jean Grey on her classic Miss Marvel, is it Miss Marvel? No, Marvel Girl costume. And his power is actually finally shown, his telekinesis, you know, to the extent that he can use it, along with his what is it, the technovirus that he has, which actually limits him, and we don't get to see a full version of what he can do till Nate Gray, which is after the Age of Apocalypse or during the Age of Apocalypse. So that happens there. So I don't know if Jean Grey dies again on this one, but it kind of gives you that feel that she does. But again, it doesn't show that she does. All right. And what else? So we have the second team, Blue. Blue team is on Asteroid M versus Magneto. Again, I said there's only Sunspot and Rogue there with Magneto. There should be more mutants there. At least add another 2, 3. And we finally get to see Wolverine go all out and try to kill Magneto. I was surprised that they actually showed the scene the way they did with the blood and everything. I'm like, yeah, they finally did it right. They did something right here. And granted, they've been doing a lot of things right with this X-Men series, this X-Men 97. That's why we're all watching it, and that's why we're all doing videos on it and trying to get it out there. So for the fans who stopped watching, Disney and Marvel because of their politics, hey, if you're a fan of the X-Men, go watch the animation. Screw their politics. Screw what they believe in. It's not tossed into this series. So, I get it. Boycotting Disney, boycotting their crap. I understand all that. But if you were a lifelong comic book fan, and if you're like me, who got into comic books because of the X-Men, you want to go see this stuff. All right. So just give it a chance. Go watch it. Don't worry about the politics. Leave the politics out of it. After you're done watching it, you can go back to the politics. You don't have to go watch everything Disney. You don't have to go watch everything Marvel. But just go watch the stuff that's good and that you wanted to watch since you were a kid. All right. And I know that we got it in 92, but it stopped and some things weren't done right. We all know they're not going to follow the storylines exactly. They're going to mesh them together, try to move as fast as they can through these things. But if Disney and Marvel would just listen to the fans for once, your second season, just make it about Onslaught. Just all 10 episodes built into the heroes, the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and everybody else, the Incredible Hulk coming in to help the X-Men. Hopefully on your last episode, on episode 10, we get to see when Magneto's inner conscience or inner evil, whatever's into that demon that's inside of him, touches Xavier. And once we see that, we're getting Onslaught, which I've always wanted to see again in some type of format other than a comic book. So I think it's great that that's going to be happening. Can't wait for episode 10. If it ends that way, it's going to be hard having to wait who knows how long for season 2. Okay? So, again, I'm only showing you a few things here of what's happening. It's just a small review. There's other channels that are doing this. So you probably already saw it. I saw the episode last night, but I have to edit the things. I have to do everything myself. I'm not a big channel, so you get my stuff a little late, but you get my opinion, which you don't get on those other channels, all right? And I know it doesn't mean much, but it might be different than theirs, so you might get a little bit of different information. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this review of the episode and what I think is next to come. So thank you guys again for watching. If you're not a member, if you're not a subscriber and you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe, join the family. Let's grow the channel. And again, I'm trying to grow it because I'm also doing my own book. I already wrote it and I already did the layouts. Now it's just to find the time and money to get the drawings done. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video next week when we review episode 10.